Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter, this Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. But for now, I'm doing TV Skywriter, where I introduce you to cool people I think you should know. And today I have two guests, which is really unique for me. Let me tell you who they are. Alice Fuller. She's the principal consultant of Sheer Social. She is a social media strategist, and we'll find out what that is. And Alice is near me. I'm in Durham. Alice is in Raleigh. And Curtis, he's a fellow former Chicagoan who's living in Texas. And he is the principal of Curtis Brooks Media Productions. And both of them are social media strategists, and they know all about internet marketing and that sort of thing. We're going to be talking about a very special event that's going to be happening next week. Let's welcome the guests, Alice Fuller, Curtis Brooks.
Hi.
You are so low key. So how are the both of you?
Fine.
Doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're both, it's really funny. Both of you talk in front of probably thousands of people per year, and yet you're so low key right now. But that's cool. That's cool. So let me tell you, everyone, how we've all met. So I can't really remember. Both of us, all of us have been floating around live streaming for a while, and I'm sure that's how we all met. I know that Alice, I've been watching your show on Fridays, noon, on Facebook Live. Do you do Sheer Social on Facebook Live or
Facebook Live and now Instagram.
Oh, Instagram too. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's no time limit on Instagram?
About an hour.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then it'll cut you off. You'll have to start again.
Okay, I got you. So that's how I first heard about Alice, and I think actually Tachi,
another fellow live streamer, is what
right.
we all have in common at this point.
And then Curtis produces Tachi's show, and we're talking about Dr. Chetachi Egwu. She is a professor of media, et cetera, et cetera. She's in Florida. And Curtis, I think I first heard your name probably on Blab.
Yeah, vaguely. I think I remember you on Blab as well. Not a whole lot. You weren't on too much, were you?
Not on Blab that much. I think I dropped in on other people's shows more than doing my own show. I think I did some interviews on Blab. I really liked that platform while it lasted.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was thinking I met you mostly on working with Dr. Tachi. That's where I was. But you said it was probably Blab too. So
okay, and also Dr. Vibe. I think
right.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw your name in the audience of Dr. Vibe. Now, and I haven't seen him for a while. He's a really good interviewer, or as he would say, conversationalist. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to start with Curtis, even though I invited Alice first. I want to ask you a question first, Curtis. Now, you produce two shows. You produce Alice's show, right? And also Tachi's show. And you don't? Well, you were a guest on Alice's show. I'm sorry, Alice.
Yeah, I was actually just kind of just helping out a bit. I think I was a co-host just for one show. And
co-host. Okay,
yeah,
that's
just
different.
Co-host for one show. Yeah, and
so
go ahead.
I want you to start out explaining what a producer is, because most of us go online just willy-nilly. And when you watch Tachi's show, you notice that she has pictures and different things going on. So tell us what you do as a producer.
Okay, absolutely. Actually, I had to be schooled by Alice, who is the television producer, and but
awesome.
in the event, which is a good thing. But originally, that's what I produced shows, but she gave me more kind of enlightened me, I would say, and said, my title is actually a technical director, but I use producer more commonly because a lot of times that's what people can associate with some kind of production. You should say producer. They not necessarily know what you're doing, but
Mhm.
it gives them an idea of, some kind of idea. But as a technical director, um, essentially, I've been using Wirecast. That's the software we use to bring in the pictures, videos, and things of that nature. Been using
Okay.
Wirecast for several years. And I got started in this, really, be very honest, is just by necessity. I've been working with it for a while, actually had it uh, on my Mac here for years, and then decided, say, you know what, let me do something different with it, and kind of just stepped out there and had given Dr. Tachi a call, say, hey, you need some help with your show. And she was just like, like what kind of help? So
Mhm.
from there, we just kind of, it's like a match made in heaven. So it works out good for us.
Awesome. I wanted to start out with that because I want people to be aware that live streaming is very exciting, but you can, how can I put this? You can add as much to it as you like. Like I
Absolutely.
said, most of us just say, oh, let's turn on the camera. Whoa, I'm live streaming.
Absolutely.
But with people like you, folks can put on shows that are very much like what we're accustomed to in television with picture in picture and different features like that. I just wanted to start with that so that people can start saying,
Right.
interesting.
Right. Yeah. Commonly, yeah, a lot of people will just, hop on their phones and just go live. But in talking with clients or potential clients, it's nice to start off that way. If you are in a space as far as budget wise,
Mm,
but once you started off in that place, I think that a lot of people, whether you're starting off small or you're getting to something with, multiple cameras, the wonderful thing about that is that a lot of times people are just, when starting off, you can start that way, but
mhm.
I think people like to see progress.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
like to see progress. Progress is always nice. And so if you start that way with using your phone, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because most of us do start that way using our phone. But when you're trying to reach a different audience, it's important to be able to have some kind of diversity, or at least show that you're growing and
Hmm.
that you're doing something different. Because again, on Periscope, a lot of people will stream from their cars or stream from
Oh,
their
sure. Which they
office.
shouldn't actually.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Hmm.
when you're trying to, I think, step up your game with production wise, as far as making sure that the lighting is right and the colors, the logo, you can bring in your lower thirds, your titles. And most of the time working with Dr. Tachi and the other show that I produce, it's done remotely, which is the cool thing. So you don't have to
Yeah,
be
because you're in Texas, she's in
correct.
Florida. Wow.
Absolutely.
And speaking of lower thirds, if people don't know what that is, that's when you're watching TV and you see, especially the
Right.
news, you'll see, like NBC or CBS or whatever with the name of the person. And in fact, I don't have my lower thirds right now because I clicked on it and it's not working today. Sometimes it happens with Google Plus. It just
It happens in
there are
all other
glitches.
kinds of stuff. Yeah, sure.
So, Alice, tell us about Share Social, how it got started, and how do you help people?
It got started literally from an entertainment blog. While working in LA, because I left North Carolina, went out to LA to work in entertainment.
Wow.
And
Whoa, wait a minute. What made you do that? That is exciting.
I started my television career in North Carolina, I worked in news and worked for a PBS affiliate.
Nice.
And I kind of felt my career was not going in the direction I really wanted it to go because I always wanted to do the big stuff, the award
Mhm.
shows, movies, TV
Sure.
shows.
What were you doing? What was your job title or titles?
At NCN, which is one of the local news affiliates, I was chief news editor for the 4 and the 11. Because I know I worked the 4, 6, and 11, but at the end of the day, it was 2 newscasts, one of those. But it was
Okay.
all hard news, evening news. Then from there, I jumped to UNC TV, and I was associate producer, assistant director there. And then had a little stint for the town of Cary where I ran their government access channel, but I don't talk about that much. And then from there, I jumped to Hollywood. Went out to Hollywood, moved out to Beverly. Well, not literally, because I never lived in Beverly. I worked in Beverly Hills, but I never moved. I couldn't afford it.
So coming from North Carolina, though, were you able to connect right away, or did it take a while for you to get your footing?
What had happened was, you know how your grandma tells you, you never know who's watching you.
Okay.
And while I was still trying to figure out whether I wanted to move to LA or not, I made a call to BET. And I was looking for work because it didn't make any sense to leave my good, regular check in North Carolina just to step out on faith for whatever in LA. So while I was looking for work in LA, and the one producer that I called, she was like, well, I don't have any shows. I'm all booked up. And out of frustration, literally out of frustration, I asked, well, look, can I work the BET Awards? Can I do that? Can I do something? And once again, she forwarded me to somebody else I didn't know. Long story short, right place, right time, right request. And I ended up working the BET Awards.
Wow.
That was 2001, I think. 2002, maybe 2001 or two. I forgot what it was. But at any rate, so somebody working at the BET Awards was the one who kind of pulled me into some of the bigger shows after that, because she saw me working at BET, and then she got hired to work the Oscars, and then she hired me to work the Oscars.
Good gracious. You hit the ground running.
Well, you know what? I'm don't want to make it more religious or spiritual than it is, but that was all God. Because at the end of the day, I didn't have any friends like that out there. I didn't have any cousins, uncles, daddies, mamas, sisters. I didn't have none of that.
Wow.
So it was just a pure be in the right place at the right time for somebody to see you, and it can pull you in. And that's basically how it kind of started. And working in entertainment, I was working as an associate producer for House Hunters, and that gig was coming quickly to an end. So
House Hunters, is that the
HGTV?
HGTV. Oh, okay.
House Hunters and House Hunters International. And I knew my gig was going to end soon, so I was like, I got to do something because I got to get another job. I like to eat and go places. So I started that entertainment blog based on what I saw somebody else doing. And I reached out to him to ask him about blogging, and he'll never know. And he still to this day has no idea. And he he was a little snarky with me about starting a blog, but nonetheless, I started it anyway for a couple of reasons. One, so people in North Carolina could stop asking me what celebrity I was seeing that week, because the perception is you see celebrity and you hang out with celebrity all the time. And technically, I didn't hang out with celebrity all the time. You work with them, but I don't hang out with them.
Sure.
They don't never come to my house. And technically, I only been to one or two of their houses. So it ain't that deep. And then two, I did it because I wanted to complement my resume, because I wanted entertainment. I wanted some other shows I was applying to see what I could do. I could write, I could shoot, I could edit. I was a one-woman show.
Nice.
So
wait a minute. How did you learn all of this? Did you major?
Well, yeah, my major in college was communications, and my specification was broadcast. So
Nice.
my HBCU education set the foundation for it all, because I learned how to shoot, edit, produce, direct, multi-camera directing, studio directing, not film directing, but multi-camera direction. All of that I learned at St. Augustine's University.
Nice. That's very impressive.
Yeah. So when I left North Carolina, I already had credits. And then I went to LA, and my credits didn't hold water. So I had to literally start as a PA, as a lowly production assistant.
What do they do?
Whatever they tell you. So you walk.
Okay.
That is not a mere exaggeration. That you do what they tell you to do. You literally hold up the production, because if PAs didn't work, there would be no Hollywood. That's at the end of the day.
Wow.
Because the PAs do the grunt work. You hear those stories about
so they're not important, but they're vital.
Oh, no, they are
They're real
important.
important.
Yeah, they're real important, because without them, some of the grunt work that people don't want to do, your producers don't want to do, your production coordinators don't want to do, your PAs end up doing. So, and even some of that other stuff that, is really just kind of fluff, like you run and go get coffee a lot. You run and go get
did
scripts.
eat well, right, Alice? You told me that.
Oh yeah, you get to eat well because they feed you well, but that can be a problem too, because you gain weight. So so at the end of the day, I started that entertainment blog to share with people what I was doing in Hollywood and doing red carpets. And, I did celebrity interviews, movie premieres. The irony is I was applying to work at E. And E never hired me. And I ended up working red carpets right next to E for my own media outlet. I didn't need E.
Answer me this question.
Yes.
Why are people so interested or obsessed or fascinated by celebrities?
Well,
I don't want to sound stupid, but
no, it's not a stupid question. But at the end of the day, when you see the fame, the supposed wealth, and I do stress supposed, the fame, the supposed wealth, you see the rags to, sometimes the rags to riches story. You see the attention they get. You see all the material things that come with celebrity. But what you don't see is the darker side of celebrity, meaning how much of themselves they have to give up, their privacy, dealing with family who always want money, or the cousin you never knew you had, or the daddy who didn't acknowledge you until you became famous.
Right.
So there's a lot. And then too, because as a celebrity, you become a business. You are a bona fide walker. It's just like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I am the businessman. Because
I remember
once you become the celebrity, you've got all these people relying on you to keep them fed. So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of extra that goes into being a celebrity that people just don't see. Now I got to see some of the bad. I got to see all of it, the bad, the good, all of it. And there's a lot to being a celebrity. And technically, I never desired to be a celebrity. Working with them, and even working with them was not my goal either.
Yeah, I don't see that.
That was by default.
I actually heard funny things like certain celebrities are, you're instructed not to look them in the eye.
That is true. That yes, there is.
Is that really true? That sounds
in some
ridiculous.
In some instances that might be true, and some of it is urban legend kind of stuff. But in many instances, because of what comes with celebrity, and some actors really buy into it. They really get into that whole, thing with celebrity, and then some don't. Some of them are quite approachable. Some of them are like when I was working one particular award show, and they told the crew, "Hey, none of you, we don't want to catch any of you talking to the celebrities, because if we do, we're going to put basically you're going to end up losing your job."
Whoa.
And
you do have to get your work done.
Well, I was backstage standing next to Halle Berry, and it's just like, I'm standing next to Halle Berry. What am I not? Hey, Halle. Hey, girl, how you doing? Hey, girl, how you doing? And so I didn't mean to strike a conversation with her. What I meant to do was say, hey, I enjoy your work. I see you, congratulations, and move on. Well, she heard, because Halle is deaf in one ear. So I don't even know what ear I was really in, whether I was in the good ear or the bad ear. So she told me to come back. And so I'm like, Halle, now I can't be standing here talking to you. Now I meant to say hello and keep it moving. I can't be seen. And I told her, I'm like, I can't be seen here talking to you because you're going to make me lose my job. So in some instances, because celebrity is celebrity, they don't want people trying to get their next job. They don't want you to be a security issue, because that's another thing, because, with celebrity comes that scary part where there's that crazy fan and you never know.
Right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So in many instances, a lot of it is about protecting them. But in many instances too, it's about the entourage. In all honesty, it's not even the celebrity that's making all of that extra for you. It's the entourage that's doing it.
Okay. So you went from this blog.
From the entertainment blog, and then from the entertainment blog, because I had lots of publicists asking me, well, write a blog for my client, or ghostwrite for my client, or come cover this event for me and write about it, which is how I got Heineken to be my first real client in blogging. Never tasted the beer, but at the end of the day, for what they were doing, they didn't care. So writing about people's events. And so a lot of people, when they start a blog, they think the way to make money is purely by traffic. And there are more ways to make money from blogging than just traffic, because that was never how I made money blogging. I made money by showing people what I could do, and that I could do this for you.
And then I hope people are paying attention. That's really interesting. This big debacle over YouTube, I guess, taking the monetary benefits away from the small channels, and a lot of the experts are saying, if you're not making money already, because if you're so small, if you're that small, you don't have 1,000 subscribers or whatever, you're probably not making a lot of money anyway.
No.
And then certain experts are saying, don't sweat the money, because if you're clever, you'll get sponsors. And what's that word?
Well, if you started as a business from the jump, if you start a YouTube channel with the goal of becoming a YouTube celebrity, then you are going to get your feelings hurt, because there's a lot of them. So if you started with the idea of, first, I'm just going to do good content. I'm just going to do quality content. And even when I say quality, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be all educational and, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, high production value, good quality. And in many instances, it may not even be high production value.
Right.
But,
and that kind of ties in with what Curtis was saying. You can up your game.
Yeah, you can up your game.
In a producer and having like picture in picture and other special features that the rest of us don't have.
Yeah.
And you will stand out.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to, because I can name a couple of channels of people just sitting up in their bedrooms or in their bathrooms doing hair, talking about celebrity gossip, and they've got a subscriber.
It does help to have a good personality and to be comfortable in front of the camera.
At the end of the day, that helps too. So the production value is great, but when you look at some of these YouTubers, especially those who started maybe 5-6 years ago, it was not about your production value. It was about the personality, the persona.
Exactly. And they were doing it for the fun. They
were doing it for the fun. And so
I think when YouTube first started, nobody could monetize in the beginning.
No, in 2004.
That wasn't even part of the game.
No, it wasn't even. And then they figured out their business model. And then you became a YouTube partner, as long as you met the requirements for a YouTube partnership. And then after that, you could start getting your AdSense to your ads. And, people started making money from the AdSense. But if you really started as a business, the reality of it is you don't have to rely on AdSense, because that's little money.
Yeah.
In all honesty, the YouTube celebrities now are making money from endorsement deals. They're acting. I don't want to say they're replacing real actors, but Hollywood is looking at the fact that you already have an audience. That's less work we have to do.
Exactly.
So you already have an audience.
There are certain YouTubers that I watch who, I don't know if they're making a lot of AdSense money. I suspect that some of them are, but I'm noticing that companies are connecting with them, flying them around, sending them product, sponsoring photo and video shoots. And I'm seeing that's the way to do it, to get attention from people who want to piggyback off of your success, to bring them along, even though their name is bigger than yours, but they want your audience, your demographic or whatever.
Yeah, that's the name of the game now.
Don't cry over losing out on AdSense, because that's
not even
chump change.
That's chump change, considering what you could be making. You can use your YouTube channel and start a speaker circuit. People could hire you just to go out to speak. You can make hundreds to thousands of dollars just speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of changing that mindset of, oh, well, now that they've taken that away, I got to work even harder to get my 4,000 hours or whatever it is, watch time and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not the business model. It might have been, it might have been 10, 15 years ago, but not in 2018.
Okay.
There's also affiliate marketing as well. So if you've got your YouTube channel, you can do affiliate marketing and things of that nature as well.
Well, what is affiliate marketing?
Excuse me. For example, affiliate marketing, if you've got a product, Patricia, that you're selling, you may offer a percentage of that product to the person who's selling it. So let's say, for example, you've got a product and I may do a demonstration, say, hey, if you guys are interested in this product, check it out at patricia.durhamskywriter.com and you can get more information. So I send the traffic to you or give them access to the link that you make available to me as an affiliate, and then I get as the person that's part of your affiliate program, I get a portion of that of the money that you make from that sale.
I have noticed people listing the equipment that they use. They list the camera, the mic, the lights, the lav mic, the desk lamp, whatever. And if you go to, I guess it's probably Amazon.com.
About 90% of them are Amazon.com.
But here's the cool thing. So suppose you want, like I use the Yeti microphone. So suppose you're like, ooh, I want a mic just like Pat.
Absolutely.
So if I have an affiliate link, then you can buy the Yeti mic and I'll get a cut. But here's the cool thing. If you go on to buy kitchen utensils, while you're shopping, kitchen utensils, a car, stereo, whatever, I'll get a cut from that too. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that it's just the items that you list. But if they happen to get on Amazon with your link and whatever they buy during that session, you'll get a cut off.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too, because I don't want to give people the impression that you can you can apply to be an Amazon affiliate. It's easy to do.
Oh, it's not easy? I didn't know.
No, it is easy. It's easy to do. It's always been easy to do. When I had my blog, I was an Amazon affiliate. But I want people to keep in mind that you still will need traffic and considerable amount of traffic to make that profitable for you.
Good point.
So don't hop on thinking, oh, they said I could be an affiliate marketer and I can get my rent paid.
Maybe not right away.
Right. You're going to need considerable amount of sales in order, because technically you're only getting a small percent of that sale. So you need plenty of sales. You need lots of sales.
You definitely have to work for it because again, example, Patricia, if you had a product, if I was just doing a demonstration or something like that, that could be included. For instance, like I could have your demonstration of your product on my website, on my page, or my YouTube page, whatever the case might be, showing your product or demonstrating your product, and it still work behind it. So without a doubt, as Alice said, so it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get your rent paid just like that. But it still works. It just still works. You have to, at the end of the day, it ends up being a numbers game, whether you're writing blogs or, it just ends up being a numbers game. You need people to see, you need traffic, you need people to view those blog posts, you need people to check out those links, whatever the case might be, whatever you're sharing, it ends up being a numbers game.
That's really good to know.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing too, we have to tell people the FTC rule. If you're going to be an affiliate, you have to tell people that this product, or if you have a deal, if it's not something from Amazon or whatever else, even if it is, you have to be transparent. Now you have to tell people they are paying me to speak about this product, whether good or bad.
Oh.
And you have to be upfront and tell people I am an Amazon affiliate. This is the product and this is what it is. So once again, FTC several years ago began to see just how much influence bloggers could have in business. Mm-hmm. And once that was kind of, peep this, that's when the rules started coming in about, hey, we need you to say, Kim Kardashian, that you were paid to talk about this product.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble quick.
Let's switch subjects, because the two of you, and I'm really, I didn't know where you were, Curtis, to tell you the truth, but that the two of you are collaborating on a very special, well, basically the name is Social Media and Ministry, How to Reach the Unreached. And the two of you are collaborating on this. I think this is very exciting to be having a full day seminar online. So tell us about that, and tell us how you set that up.
You want Curtis to handle that, or you want me?
No, you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you're in charge of it, right?
Well, he's my co-producer.
Oh,
so,
both of you working together. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew you were collaborating. I didn't know you were equal. Okay.
Yeah. So,
either one.
All right. But you started the question with him. That's why I said, did you want him to answer the question?
Oh, either one. Whoever wants to step forward.
Go ahead, Curtis. Go ahead.
Okay. Any event, yes, we're actually very excited about this this seminar or summit that we're putting on. It's very exciting. It's a lot of work. So, as Alice and you mentioned, Patricia, it just doesn't happen overnight. But it is a lot of work. It's time consuming. Alice has to put her producer hat on, which she's definitely comfortable in that space. And I'm learning a lot from Alice in regards to how things are being handled, because I don't come from the production part of it. But nevertheless, it's still part of the process. Calling people, it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work. So we are both very excited about it. I contacted Alice a little while ago because a lot of times when you're trying to take people out of their comfort zone, sometimes, or just a lot of times, where's that it's just not their normal, and obviously, and working with churches. My background is in ministry as a former assistant pastor. So I've been around church folk for quite some time now. But that being said, I know how we are. I know it's difficult sometimes with change and challenges with changing. And I had visited several churches in the past in regards to about live streaming, and it was always, we're not too sure about this and that, that kind of thing. But I think
why the hesitation? I'm just curious.
The hesitation, well, I mean, it's for a lot of different reasons, and you can't just pinpoint one thing and say, oh, this is what it is. But Alice and we've had this conversation several times, and her points are valid, and she's got a lot of great points. I've got a lot of great points. But the point of it is that there are just a lot of different views and opinions in regards to why the hesitation on getting out there. One big reason is that I think one of the biggest reasons is budget. They think it costs a whole lot.
Oh, wow. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. So then the other part of it is just being uncomfortable, again, along with so many other different things out there in regards to varying reasons as far as why the hesitation is live streaming. But again, I just contacted Alice and said, hey, let's do this here, because I think as more and more as social media gets big, it obviously already is, but I just think that I have a heart for the church, and so does Alice. And I think that the church eventually, I think, is going to get left behind, and you just gotta do it. You got to make it happen.
Well, some churches are just now getting around to getting the big screen TVs and putting the lyrics and whatnot on the screen. I wanted to throw a quick hello to Alfredo Tigolo. He is watching the show live. He live streams his church events. He's in way out there in California. I'm really glad that he's here to listen to this conversation, or rather watch this conversation.
So to lay the other brick about what started it, coming back from California, went to my family church, and noticed the young folk were gone, just
oh no,
gone.
Where'd they go?
And then visiting other churches and then looking at the websites and things of that nature of local churches,
Mm-hmm.
it really struck me how there was a connection probably between the lack of young people, as well as the fact that some of how they approach marketing their churches. There was a connection between those things there. So I literally put together something for my family's church and put a proposal together. And it was still called Social Media and Ministries. The title did not change. It was still called Social Media and Ministry. And that's all it was called. And so I put together this proposal and they couldn't get it. It was, and then when I talked to the pastor about it, and he basically said he's not a technological type of guy.
Okay.
And as I was talking to him, and it just hit me like, you know what? The fact that you are still in that mentality of, I want to evolve to a degree, but people like to do things at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And their pace is slower than you want their pace to be. So it just really hit me that, there is a need for this type of conversation to be happening. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, if you're not evolving with your congregation, then the church dies. So when I had that conversation with this particular pastor, it was like, okay, if you are in that mindset of, I don't do the technology thing, I have my son to do it. It's always, in many instances, it's a young people thing. The young people are good at it. I'm good at what I'm doing. It's been working for me for 40 years, for 30 years. I've been a preacher. I've been a whatever for however long. And I didn't need social media to get where I got. So
after all, Jesus didn't live stream, so why should I?
Yeah. But Jesus had followers too. He only had 12, but look.
Right. Somebody was getting the message out.
Yeah. So, and once again, if when it comes down to how are you getting your message beyond the pews? Absolutely. If you are not doing TV, if you're not doing radio, how is your message getting beyond just the four walls? And the question still is, do you want it to get beyond the four walls?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that question. Do they concentrate on that?
Well, some do and some don't. And one of the main reasons why some pastors and some church leaders don't do it is because it's a control thing. They feel like social media, because it's a medium that allows people to talk back to you. We're not in that. We're past that one thing talking to everybody. You got one medium that broadcasts to everybody, and you just listen and you move on. But you don't have an opportunity. You can talk back to a radio all day. It's not going to get you where you want to go. And as much as we talk back to our televisions, it's not going to get you anywhere you want to go. And so we're in this digital age now where people can literally talk back to you via social media, via a website. People still do old school phone calls and things of that nature.
Some churches still have cassette ministries, and
yes, they still have that.
But I think my church is at least doing DVDs.
But the thing is, when the word of mouth is multiplied 1,000 times over with social media than it is with some of the other platforms that have been, the go-tos in the past. And that scares a lot of people. When I can put the message out there,
they would be excited.
No. So I can put the message out there, but then to get that immediate feedback, and I can't control what they're going to say. And then we're in a public forum, so everybody can see what's being said. That can be very intimidating.
That's true.
For an institution.
Yeah.
That relies very heavily on perception. So it can be quite a scary thing, because at the end of the day, your audience is controlling a lot of it, not just you anymore.
And I would add to what you're saying, Alice, is that I think one of the other bigger pieces to this puzzle here that we're dealing with the churches is that it also takes money to market your message, to make sure that, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or, whatever platform you're going to use to deliver your message. It also takes finances, and those finances are really, in a sense, with a company or entrepreneur marketing their product on Facebook, it's no different for the church in regards to finding your audience, those people who are new to the neighborhood, who just moved to the neighborhood, or from one city to another city. So you've got to find your target audience as well when you are when you are deciding to use Facebook or YouTube or some kind of social media platform to deliver your message. So that's equally as important as, rather than just saying, just putting a message on Facebook and then being concerned about who's going to get that message, or what kind of comments are going to be posted in there, like Alice was saying, and you can't control it. So, but you can control for the fact that, hey, let me find a target audience who wants to hear this particular message.
Well, see, this is the great debate one of the great debates between Curtis and I. Because at the end of the day, many churches were doing fine before social media. Many of your mega churches became mega churches way before social media became a thing.
That's very true.
So, but at the end of the day, because society has evolved to content everywhere, we see it on our phones, we're seeing it on our computers. We're getting into this, and it's a behavioral shift.
Well, I do have to say, though, Alice, these mega churches, usually, at least the ones I know about from back home, they were always ahead of the game in terms of social media. I'm saying social media, maybe I'm using the wrong term, but they were the first with the big screen TVs.
That's because they could afford it.
Yeah, they were, but also they were the first with the TV ministries.
Absolutely.
Some of them were really clever in partnering with, what do you call that? Cable access TV.
So it's just a new medium,
and that's almost free.
But the big difference once again is you got a one to many model when you start talking about radio and TV. Once again, going into that studio, this is my message. I'm going to pay BET or whoever $300 a month or whatever it is they pay to be on BET and all these other places. And then your feedback is whether you get the tithe or not, or whether you get the views or not. But at the end of the day, that is not a person literally talking right back to you to say, I don't like your sermon.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope they can ignore that while they're live.
Well, but that could. But at the end of the day, when you start thinking about the mega churches being ahead of the game, they could be ahead of the game because they had better resources. They had more people to spread that word,
Absolutely.
out. And so when you got that many people, tithing and doing all that other stuff, you're going to have more money in order to pay to be on TV, in order to pay to be on radio. Because at the end of the day.
But then again, if the minister is afraid of feedback, he or she is not going to be the one to see the feedback live anyway. Ideally, they would be in the pulpit and someone else would have their smartphone or their camera or whatever.
Maybe.
So they're not going to know.
Not necessarily, though, because at the end of the day, depending on the pastor, if the pastor were doing this live stream and they're doing it for the first time, and maybe the assistant might set it up at bare minimum, but they can see the comments popping up on the side, and it can be very distracting.
Okay.
Depending on what platform they're using. So they can, or when it ends, they may not see it live, but once you stop recording and they go back to the Facebook post and they see all of these people talking about what he just said, and some of it may be great, some of it may not be.
Yeah.
That is a scary thing.
Okay.
I think the thing for me, Alice, and again, just this is the great debate between Alice and I think for me is that I'm like, well, wait a minute now. If these mega churches, like Alice was saying, before they became mega churches, they they weren't using social media, but they were using, as Patricia said, they were using television. So there was a Bishop T. Jakes, his story, many people who are in the space of religion or, churches, public churches, or maybe even go to church, they know his story where he started with just a basic video, creating video. He set up his tripod at the front part of his church where most people were sitting, and actually asked that the people sit closer to the front, filmed his church, his sermon, his message, and sent it to one of the many church shows or on television outlets there, and they TBN was one of them, and they played this message. And so
Wow.
he really isn't doing so much. I mean, it was a great marketing idea, absolutely.
Yeah.
But most of his income went into actually his television ministry. So like Alice said, before there was social media, Bishop T.D. Jakes and his marketing team were on it in regards to, hey, we've got to get this message out in front of people. That's what it was about. It was about getting the message in front of people. And so from my perspective, I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute now. If people can start, a low entry to live streaming your organization, your business, if all it costs is setting up your phone on a tripod, and as things progress and you build up the funds, you can get some kind of different setup to live stream and essentially do the same thing again. Now you're starting off with your phone, you're building up your production staff, or getting multi cameras or whatever the case might be, and now you are looking to target your sermons to certain audiences. So I that's the perspective I'm coming from. It's like, oh, wait a minute now, if Bishop T.D. Jakes did this, and which it didn't probably cost him a whole lot. Well, I can't say that, because at the time I'm sure it cost him a great deal of money, but now
That was probably before the cameras went way down in price.
Absolutely.
So the two of you are going to convince those who are attending your seminar on the 15th of this month, which I think is next Thursday, 2018, to get involved with live streaming? Is that the whole idea behind your social media and ministry seminar?
No, that was not the aim. That was, for me, that was when I first had the idea, that was never the aim. The aim is to not necessarily talk about just live streaming.
Right.
The aim literally is to be a catalyst in a shift in how you think about social media and technology, but not about quote unquote live streaming. I'm not going to say you need to be live streaming or you need to be doing anything. At best, I might say you need to be considering your options. That's the message I'm going with. That's the whole point. At this level of the game in 2018, you need to consider your options, because you have many options available to you, and not all of them may be good for you, but at least be knowledgeable of what the options are. Not only be knowledgeable, but be willing to test them, because what we're running into a lot is people are not willing to test things, because they don't want to, because once again, they don't want to learn a new thing. If we're honest, a lot of people don't want to learn a new thing. I'm good where I am. My head is full. And that's just one thing on my plate that I really don't want to have to handle. I'm the pastor. I've got the vision, and I need to implement these things right here first. And, social media may be way, way down on the list. My goal is to get social media further up the list so that you can consider your options. If you're trying to raise money, especially if you're trying to raise money within your church, which is good, but at the end of the day, if you're in a community, you can reach more people and potentially reach more money if you have some sort of strategy in place about how to better market your church via social media or digital marketing in general. So
I think that's true too, because in many churches, and I've read articles where they say many churches only have from toddlers up to teen, and then you skip a couple of decades,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of elderly
Mm-hmm.
and older people, grandparents, and then maybe the parents of the toddlers are sending the kids to church, but they might not be attending themselves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this misperception, this that old people don't want to learn about social media is wrong. One of the biggest clients I ever had was AARP.
Mm.
That's 50 plus. And the reality of it is you got plenty of people. I mean, look, how I got AARP as a client is this. I went in with the proposal and I started it with the statistic Facebook had at the time that the 50 plus demographic was the fastest growing demographic on Facebook.
Oh yeah, shoot.
That that said,
I bet that got their attention right away.
That got their attention right off the bat. And so realizing that 50 and people don't retire at 50 anymore. That's why AARP doesn't even call themselves the retired persons anymore.
They don't?
No, they rebranded themselves. They still say AARP, but listen to the commercials. They don't say themselves. They don't call themselves retired persons anymore, because a lot of people don't retire at 50.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I want to change people's kind of notion that this thing is only for young people when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It is a tool. You're 50 and you don't mind using television. You don't mind stepping in front of a camera. Social media is no different. It is just a tool. It is one more option in your toolkit to get your message beyond just the people that you regularly talk to. That's one of my main goals. And the other goal is to start this dialogue about, look, if you're trying to reach young people, you've got to evolve. You've got to come at people at the way they want, at the way that they can be reached the best.
With your language.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, though, and this is where we also have a great debate. I'm not trying to say you negate the old people.
Oh no.
And start doing something so new that you leave out the older generation, because there are lessons to be learned from the older generation. That's the foundation. You don't build a house, my hope is built. I mean, the reality of it is the church is built on what? A solid foundation. That's your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have to reach them the way they want to be reached.
Sure.
But when you're trying to reach new audiences, that's where you got to consider your options. Mm-hmm. You're trying to reach young people. What are young people doing? You're trying to get on Facebook. I can tell you now, you really have to know what the platform is about. Mm-hmm. And get to know, because everything is algorithms now. So
that's why I was pointing out that if your church is mostly toddlers and older people, your income it just makes sense that you're going to have more money coming in if you have people, the working people. I'm not saying older people don't work, but what I mean is if you're missing the 20s and 30s, people in that age group, mm-hmm. you're missing out on a lot of money, basically.
Yeah. Potentially you're missing out. Mm-hmm.
I think that is, really, sometimes you can save money without saying it. And I think a lot of times,
I guess that was a little crass.
No, I'm not saying that for you, Patricia, but I think that is a byproduct of live streaming, a byproduct of when you're out there live, whether it be live streaming or whether it be some kind of social media, doing a blog post or just whatever, any kind of form of social media, it ends up being about visibility. It ends up being about traffic, and a byproduct of that visibility, a byproduct of that live streaming. And this summit is not necessarily about trying to convince someone they should live stream or they should do. They should involve themselves in social media, but as Alice said, is that she says consider. I'm thinking in my mind, beginning, like she said, this is our great debate here, is that if you don't consider, if you don't strongly consider, you're going to get left behind, and the churches are no different from the businesses.
Very
No
true.
different from a McDonald's or any kind of business, or Lehman Brothers, who have been around for over 100 years, made a wrong investment. So they're absolutely no different. And I think
Mhm.
pastors have a huge responsibility, and making sure that their people, that they're in charge of, I was maybe not the right word, but they're people that they're leading, and God has placed them within that church. I think the pastors have a huge responsibility to make sure that there's progress. There has to be progress, and if anything remains stagnant, we know what happens. There's something that starts to,
Mhm.
there's some kind of strong fragrance that comes
Mhm.
from it, but that's not appealing. But I think that it's important that the church move forward. And I again, the great debate with Alice and I, and it's okay. Everyone's going to have different opinions, and there's nothing, obviously nothing wrong with that. But I think strongly that if the church does not either strongly consider, not just padding something, oh, I think we might could, no, I think you
Mhm.
have to be it live streaming, some form of social media. Visibility is the game.
So, do you have room for people to sign up, or are you all?
No,
Absolutely.
Because it's an online seminar slash webinar. It's
well,
all day,
it's
right?
all day, so it's not like a one-off seminar. I refer to it as a mini summit
Ooh, I
because
like that.
usually your summits go 3 days. You got a bazillion speakers and all of this stuff. No, 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 no. I have selected about five or six speakers. We're going to have a panel discussion mid-afternoon just to break up the presentations a little bit.
Mhm.
And we're going to address, like, how do you get church leadership to sign on to basically say, yeah, we're open to it. Let's do it. We're also going to be talking about online reputation, which is important,
Hmm.
and the voice that you need to have. We're also going to be talking about content, because you got to have some content, and how to use social media as a teaching tool. And we'll probably end up, well, of course, we're going to talk about how do you reach the unreached with social media.
Mhm.
So we got a diversity of backgrounds, and that was my whole goal. I did not
Right.
want just one particular denomination. I wanted people from different backgrounds. So
Good.
we have somebody who's AME Zion. We have somebody, technically I would be AME, but we have somebody who's non-denominational. We have somebody who basically has a program at Princeton University. We have somebody who's worked with Catholic churches. So, I want a diversity of people to speak to this topic. And I think it'll, if everything goes well, and I'm claiming that it
It
will,
will. It will.
I'm
Absolutely.
claiming that it will, then we will really spark a conversation.
Awesome. So we only have maybe a couple of minutes left. So give us the commercial. You've been giving us the background. So tell us how we can sign up and how we can, and who should attend and how
Okay.
they can attend.
You can go to social media and spell it out, social media and ministry.com. And while you're there, go ahead and register. It is free, free, and free. Again, it is free. So
Doesn't cost anything.
no, because you don't have to worry about, well, once I get past this page, you're going to ask me for money. No, not this time. So at this first one, we're just trying to spark the conversation. So go there, sign up, and then you'll be sent a link, because it's only people that register will be able to view it. So we're not
Nice.
opening it. We're not going to just throw it up on YouTube and that kind of thing. So you have to register in order to view it. And like I said before, this should be one great conversation, or a series of conversations. And we're going to share tips, and we're going to share resources and strategies. So you get something out of it, not just people talking about stuff you already know about.
I think that's great. So social media and ministry
Ministry.com,
dot com.
February 19th.
No,
I mean,
15th.
February
15.
15th. I got two other shows in my head. February 15th, and we'll start at 9 a.m. and we'll be done by 4 or 5 o'clock.
It's 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And there will be an hour for lunch. So you
Yeah,
can
we'll break away.
peel yourself away
Yeah,
from your
we don't
computer
have
screen
refreshments.
for an hour.
There are no virtual refreshments. No virtual refreshments. No, on your own.
Well, thank you, Alice Fuller and Curtis Brooks, both for being on my show on TV
Absolutely.
Skywriter. Really enjoyed having you on. And I welcome you back if you want to come back and tell us, because both of you just know so much. I mean, this is just 1 hour. I really would love to have both of you back separately or together or whatever, because you guys are just so knowledgeable. I love how you just share the information and your wealth of knowledge with us. So tell both of you, if you want people to contact you, can you give us your contact information?
Go ahead, Curtis.
Absolutely, sure. I can be contacted on Facebook at Curtis Brooks Media Productions. Again, that's on Facebook, Curtis Brooks Media Productions, and you can email me for more information. Actually, just send a message on Facebook. Again, just visit Facebook and click on the message link if you have any questions about the information we've discussed or any services that you may be interested in. Thank you.
I am quite Googleable, so
Is that a word?
I'm claiming it as one.
It is now.
If we can turn bling into a word, why not? Okay, so you can find me on Facebook as Sure Social. You can find me on Instagram, Sure Social. It's all Sure Social. I don't care where you go. Technically, I'm on all the major platforms, but for more immediacy, I would suggest you use either probably Facebook, the Facebook fan page. You can message the page. You can go to the website and use the contact form there. And those are the best ways. And Twitter too. Your social. You can DM me on Twitter.
Awesome. And I can be reached at DurhamSkywriter.com if you want to see an all positive online community paper for Durham, North Carolina. And I do videos. I do all kinds of stuff. Just look for me, DurhamSkywriter.com. Love to talk with you, especially if you'd like to come on the show. You don't have to be local to be on TV Skywriter. I've had guests from Afghanistan, Kenya, Brazil. So I'd love to have you on. And if you've written a book and you want me to interview you about your new book, contact me on Twitter at Durham Skywriter and let's talk about it. So again, Alice and Curtis, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And I'll see you guys later. Ciao for now.